everyone, and welcome to the undisputed heavyweight champion of the world show made for the fans by a fan. I am your host, as always, Richard Tiemann, and this is the award-winning Fan Show. Thank you for all of you joining me. This is not going out live on Spreaker right now. I'm recording it to post in podcast form later. The reason is that I was having some issues with my internet connection, and so I want that to be recorded as crisply and cleanly as possible. And of course, you know, we haven't really had any issues with the Facebook Live, so we will make sure that hopefully that works out just fine. But sometimes the Wi-Fi can be a little iffy around here. So I like to drop the Wi-Fi and connect to the Ethernet and have a solid connection for you guys, but we do not have that today. I'll have to figure out what's going on. But nonetheless, we're here, we're live, we're ready to go. I thank all of you for tuning in on Facebook Live. It's always a pleasure to have you guys watching, judging from afar. It's okay, but we are in Fan Cave Studio, comfy and cozy. It is Tuesday, October the 15th, and everyone's a fan of something, and we have got something for every fan, especially if you are a fan of the XFL, which the draft was today. And that is part of our top news for the day. And as you see the scroll down below, we didn't have a show Thursday like we were going to. So still kind of breaking news that former Sioux Falls Storm owner Todd Tryon has been named the new Indoor Football League commissioner. Had a great conversation with him last week as our first ever breaking news edition of the Fan Show. It was a lot of fun. Very thankful that he was able to join us on the show shortly following the official announcement. Of course, I had known for quite some time now, but you know, when people trust you with their secrets, you want to keep their secrets. But nonetheless, we will go ahead and jump right in and get going with today's headlines, and here we go. And the headlines, of course, as if there was any other place. Brought to you by Dynamite Enterprises. They want to help customize your world, and they can do it. They can make awesome stickers like what we've got here in the Fan Cave Studio. They could make you custom shirts. They can do jerseys. Not ones like this. I mean, this is NFL official. I got this at the 49ers Pro Shop the last time I was there. But they can do hats, they can do t-shirts, they can do mouse pads. If you still use a mouse pad, that kind of seems outdated, doesn't it? But they can do it. They can do mouse pads, they can do socks, they can do shorts, they can, like, anything that you could think of that you've seen with a logo or artwork on it, they can do it. So go and check out dynamiteenterprises.com, and if you see something you like, hit them up. See what they'll quote you, say, hey, heard about you on the Fan Show. And if you don't see what you're looking for, be like, hey, can you do this? And they're going to give it the old college try and make sure that even if it's not quite what you want, that you are at least as satisfied as you can be as a customer. So hit up Ethan at dynamiteenterprises.com. And so, first and foremost, I think we need to have, what better way to start the show than with our question of the day, and that question is, drum roll please. The question of the day is, which 3-2 team is most likely to make the playoffs? Is it the Colts? Is it the Raiders? Or is it the Bears? Each one of those teams currently sits in second place right now, a game above 500, which is why I picked those, because there's 3 500 teams right now as we go into week 6. You're going to see a lot of records that, until all the bye weeks are done, won't reflect the way maybe the team above them or below them does as far as mathematically even wins or losses. So I decided to pick the teams that were, as of right now, just over the quarter of the way through the season mark, are over 500 and sitting in second place in their respective divisions. So the Colts, they sit in second place in the AFC South. The Raiders sit in second place of the AFC West. And the Bears sit in second place of the NFC North. Which one of these teams is most likely to make the playoffs? I'll tell you right now that, you know, you look around the AFC, and at first a lot of people were just like, so it's going to come down to the Patriots and the Chiefs. And the Patriots, sure, because they have a cakewalk schedule every season. They didn't really do themselves any favors by beating the Giants on Thursday night, because their combined wins and losses for their opponents is still well below 500. I mean, well below. I think they were 5-18. They're now like 7 and 20, 21, something along those lines. But it's not good. And the Chiefs, though, the Chiefs have lost 2 in a row at home. So I think that the Texans, very good position to win the division. Obviously, the Patriots, again, in very good position to win that division. But who would be the wild cards of those of the AFC? Because I think that the AFC West is still up for grabs, considering that Kansas City has proved to be vulnerable. Chargers are proving that they are learning just more ways to lose, much like the Atlanta Falcons. So the Raiders, could they? I mean, an Antonio Brownless Oakland Raiders, could they really make the postseason? Who would have thunk it? So don't count them out. The Colts, though, I think very much have a good chance too, because the Bills, they're in a good spot now, yes, but we need to not forget that they are still the Buffalo Bills, which means that anything that can go wrong shall go wrong in the world of Buffalo and crazy tailgaters. So the Patriots obviously would have the East, because the Jets, they're not really going to do anything as of yet. They showed signs of life as they defeated the Cowboys. They beat the Cowboys. I'm sorry, I love that. So they beat the Cowboys. Miami, I will admit I picked Miami to beat the Redskins because they fired Jay Gruden. And they looked like such a mess. And I was like, if there's a chance for Miami to get a win this season, it's going to be against a possibly even worse Redskins team. But then I forgot my one rule. Well, it's one of several rules that I have when following the NFL. And that is any time that there's a major change on a dime, like it's not over the off season, or it's not after the regular season concludes or right before the regular season begins, it's mid-season, or really at any point in the season, any time that there's a major change, and that's at the quarterback position, the head coaching position, maybe even general manager, that team tends to perform better that next week. It's like they have new life, and I forgot about that with the Redskins. So congratulations to the Redskins for getting their first win of the season. And now the 49ers are going to come and play the Redskins, and that's going to be a lot of fun. I say that knowing that this would be one of those perfect scenarios for the Redskins to be a trap game, right? But anyway, we'll talk about that Thursday. That's obviously in store for Thursday's episode. But Matt has weighed in. He says, no distractions for Oakland. It's very true. It's very true. I do see Brandon, Derek, Ant, and also the Mrs. Fan Show, Zach, Adam, Jeremy, Casey have all tuned in on the Facebook Live. So let's go ahead and check your guys' thoughts on who is most likely to advance to the postseason that is currently 3-2 right now. I believe there was a few of you that weighed in on my personal Facebook page, which is where I post these questions first so that you guys are kind of in the know in regards to what we're going to be talking about come the newest episode. No special guest tonight because we didn't have a show Thursday. I felt like there was probably going to be a lot to talk about, and there is, and we're gonna break it down. So let's see. Justin says the Colts. Adam says the Colts. Nathan says the Raiders. Zen says the Bears, and Jesus says the Colts. So a lot of people think the Colts, and I think when you look at the AFC, which let's go ahead and just recap what happened in Week 5, because for me personally, it was a fantastic Week 5. It really was. or I'm sorry, week 6. We're 5-0, in case you missed that. And by we, I mean the 49ers. But 6 weeks in, and we had the Patriots over the Giants, although the Giants gave them a bit of a scare in the first half, and then it was all downhill from there, as the Patriots move on to stay undefeated, 6-0. Then we had the early game in London, and can I just ask real quick, we had a London game last week that wasn't early. It was the same time as like a normal game. And so I was like, oh, cool, they're actually going to like accommodate for us back on the mainland that actually give a crap about this sport being played across the pond. And then, no, they decided to have it at the ass crack of dawn again. And so I, thankfully, always set my lineups, usually Friday or Thursday if I have players playing Thursday night. And then, of course, Saturday night, and I will double-check everything Sunday morning. So the Panthers win again. They're 4-2. I repeat, a Cam Newton-less Panthers are 4-2. They beat the Bucs 37-26. Vikings over the Eagles. I picked this one wrong. I did pick the Panthers over the Bucs, though. Jameis Winston, though, I knew his time was coming, and I feel crazy that I went and made the point to pick him up off the waiver wire and start him thinking that he was going to have some big game over in London, and boy, was I wrong. But anyway, the Vikings over the Eagles. Vikings are 4-2. Eagles are 3-3. They're at 500. We may talk about them next week. But 38-20 is your final. The Redskins, 17. The Dolphins, 16. If you're going to lose in a battle of winless, it might as well be like that by 1 point, right? A true heartbreaker. Texans are 4-2. Chiefs fall to 4-2. They were undefeated. They have lost 2 straight, in case you missed it earlier. 31-24 is your final, and these 2 losses have come at home. At Arrowhead, one of the loudest stadiums in the NFL. I repeat, the Chiefs of Kansas City have lost back-to-back at home. That is crazy. Then, the Saints keep doing what the Saints do. Minshew magic or mania or the mustache rides of Jacksonville were no match for Teddy Two Gloves and the 5-1 Saints. How crazy is that? One loss the Saints have, and it was when Drew Brees was quarterback, not while Teddy Bridgewater is under center. I say again, Bridgewater has not lost a game for the Saints. Drew Brees did. That's crazy. Then we had the Seahawks and the Browns. Seahawks narrowly escaped the Browns in Cleveland, 32-28. Bengals and the Ravens. The Ravens are 4-2. They beat them 23-17. Falcons are finding new ways to lose because they were unable to convert a point after. That's right, a PAT, the extra point, the gimme. And so they fall to the Cardinals. 33-34. Cardinals get their second win in a row. Cowboys 22, Jets 24. Cowboys right now are 3-3. Jets 1-4. They get their first win of the season. Cowboys have lost back-to-back. Titans get shut out by the Broncos. Both are 2-4 right now. How crazy is that? 16-0. And the Steelers get the win over the Chargers. 24-17. Both are 2-4. And then finally, Monday night, controversy. The Lions fall 1 point shy to the Packers at Lambeau, 23-22. And for those of you that thought that it would have been possible for the Lions to beat the Packers at all, with or without the referees, you're crazy. The Packers get maybe one loss a season at home in Lambeau. And if that one loss was on primetime, Thursday night against the Eagles, they're definitely not going to they're definitely not going to lose. Okay, I just want to make sure that you guys know that. So let me see here. Okay, looks like the live stream is back. Sorry, it looked like it timed out. Ant says the Colts. Devin says the Colts. Robert Roberts says the Bears will wild card into the playoffs in the NFC. Raiders will probably wild card into the AFC. Interesting. Well, let's check the standings, shall we? So right now, Colts second place, like I said, and the Jags and Titans, I don't see them putting up much of the fight. In the AFC West, the Raiders are in second place, and you have the Broncos and Chargers behind you. So the other divisions for the AFC is the North, which you have the Ravens 2 games ahead of the next team, which is the Browns, and then the next team, which is the Steelers, and they are 4 games ahead of the Bengals. So I don't think there's going to be any trouble there. I mean, the Browns could rally. The Steelers are showing signs of life, but those are that's tough sledding, as they say. The Bills are 4-1, so yes, I'll go ahead and say that it's going to come down to probably the Colts and the Raiders, should the standings stay how they are right now, as far as the wild card spots. But I think the Raiders actually are going to try to win the division, which could change everything. So Colts are probably a very good pick, assuming that the Bills don't do what the Bills do, which we already talked about. On the NFC side, though, okay, so we have the Eagles and the Cowboys. Like this, there's only going to be one playoff team coming out of the NFC East. Can we all agree on that? Good. As far as the North, though, yeah, there's probably going to be 2, most likely. I do not believe that there will be 3. I don't know if the Vikings are really a true playoff contender right now. They've gotten very lucky as far as being on the right side of 500. The Bears, though, at 3-2, have had one of the tougher schedules, but they need those divisional wins, and they have not gotten them. They lost to the Packers to open the entire season, and now they have lost, to the Raiders. Across the pond, it was the Eagles that lost to the Vikings, but you need to make sure that you're beating your divisional opponents, so we'll see what happens there. Saints, Panthers, that's going to be the NFC in itself is going to be where there's going to be a lot of hurt feelings when it comes to the playoff picture once it's all said and done. I mean, as of right now, the NFC West, 49ers 5-0. That's right. 49ers 5-0, Seahawks 5-1, Rams 3-3. So the Rams aren't out. They're lingering, but they are now 2 games back from both teams ahead of them in the division. The Bears 3-2, Vikings 4-2, Packers 5-1. And in the South, the Saints 5-1, the Panthers 4-2. So there's only going to be one team that comes out of the East. But as far as the North, South, and West, you're going to have a team probably above 500 that is on the outside looking in. And it might even be one of those that it has a record better than a team from the AFC. We haven't seen that in a few seasons, but we may see that this season. And that's going to be a tough pill to swallow for a lot of fans out there. And says, I don't know, I like 2 teams in the NFC East in the playoffs. Oh, Ant, you got to explain this one to me, man, because I'm looking at this and I just don't see it. The Redskins at 1-5 are technically 2 games out of first place. You know what other team is 2 games out of first place for their division? The Rams at 3-3. Like you got some explaining to do, man. Maybe we'll have you on the show this week and you can tell us all about it, because I would love to hear why he thinks that there are 2 teams likely to come out of the East. The Eagles and the Cowboys. You think that they're going to have a better record than Seattle, San Francisco, Carolina, New Orleans, Chicago, Minnesota, and Green Bay. Those are the teams that currently have better records than the number 1 team in the NFC East. Oh, I love this. I love it. Thank you, Ant. Thank you very much for that. All right. So that's what happened in Week 6. And it was a lot of fun, and obviously as a Niners fan to go into what was opposing team territory, could have fooled me with all that red that you saw, and to get a win in as dominant fashion as they did. I love this defense. You guys know me. I'm a defensive guy. That's where the action is. That's where the momentum shifts. You can give your big plays and your touchdowns and your end zone dances to the wide receivers, the running backs, but the guys that are breaking up passes, that are getting sacks, tackles for a loss, and the pick six, that's my stuff right there. I love this defense. I really do. I'm very excited about it. Devin says, denial isn't just river in Egypt. Ooh, boy. Ant says, still early. It is. You're right. It is still early. We are technically past the quarter of the way mark, right? NFL season's usually broken up into 4 parts. There's the first quarter, there's the midway, there's the third quarter, and then there's the home stretch. So right now we are pushing towards the midway point. So still early, but in the NFL, every game counts. Nobody likes to start 0-2. You sure as hell don't want to start 0-3. But I am very curious. I'm going to make note of that, Ant, because I think that you are onto something. I think that you're seeing something that I obviously haven't. I don't follow a lot of teams from the NFC East for obvious reasons, but I do like your bold prediction saying that there will be 2 teams that come out of the NFC East. Interesting. Speaking of the NFC East, looks like College Gridiron Showcase could potentially land one of its practices at the Dallas Cowboys practice facility. Awesome stuff there. That's a headline. Marquez Gallman, the assassin from Green Bay, has re-signed with the Blizzard. He was hoping for the XFL. He might still get that, but as of right now, he is going to return to the frozen tundra that is, the Green Bay and the Green Bay Blizzard. The Green Bay. That is Green Bay and the Green Bay Blizzard. Then we saw that Espinoza, quarterback, you may know him. He was with the Columbus Lions of the NAL. He is signed with the Iowa Barnstormers, so Amir now has 2 quarterbacks for him. Tyrell Pearson signed with the Rattlers. I don't know if we discussed that on the last episode. Quad City, the Steamwheelers are making quite a few transactions now, a lot on the line, and then some defensive backs. You guys can check out Last Word on Sports. There's a free agency tracker that Connor Ferguson has put together, so you guys can go ahead and check that out. Adams says 2 teams in the West, 2 teams in the North, 1 in the South, and 1 in the East. I mean, that does look like how it will play out now, but it's going to be a slugfest. This is why I think that the Patriots have it so easy, is because you look at the Super Bowls over the last decade plus. The NFC West, I think every one of those teams, okay, so the Cardinals are probably just outside that window now when they went and faced the Steelers, but the NFC West continues to produce Super Bowl contender teams. And then, of course, it was the Eagles that beat the Patriots. But the NFC keeps producing a different contender for the Super Bowl each year, it seems like. And the AFC just keeps spitting out the Patriots. And a lot of people think, well, that's just because they're that good. Really, though? Because the competition is clearly on one side of the conference, and it doesn't look like it's really on the other side of the conference. But that's just my NFC bias peeking out there, because I am very much pro-NFC. I'm an NFC guy. I didn't even know you could be one, but I am one. And also, in other news, as I mentioned, so we had college football. Eastern Washington University Eagles thumped the Northern Colorado Bears 54-21. Ugh, great win for them. They're now 3-4. One of those 4 losses was to UW Huskies, so it doesn't really count towards their, Big Sky Conference record. But if they win out, they'll be 8-4 overall. And I believe that will be good enough for a bid into the postseason. They went to the championship last year. This team's a little different, but they're obviously going through some growing pains. So go Eags, you guys are doing awesome. And then, of course, the last but not least part of the headlines for today is that the XFL draft started. We are through phases 1, 2, and 3. Phase 1 was skill position players, quarterbacks, running backs, wide receivers, tight ends. Phase 2 was your offensive line, your tackles, your guards, your centers. And Phase 3 was your defensive line. So we have gone through 3 phases. The quarterbacks, as you see there, have been announced, and it's really something, because the quarterbacks for all 8 teams were announced before the draft started. And then a team still drafted a quarterback in their first round, which I thought was very odd. But I'm going to bring up the official list here. Notable names of the quarterbacks: Cardell Jones and Landry Jones have landed with XFL teams. So let's go ahead and take a look at these quarterbacks. And I know that for Seattle, it looks like they got a good one, and I'm very excited about that. So here we go. the quarterbacks. Matt McGloin returns to the gridiron. You may remember him from his Oakland Raider days. Matt McGloin will be the quarterback for the New York Guardians. Then we have Luis Perez. I believe he played for the AAF. Correct me if I'm wrong. He was one of the quarterbacks. He was the guy who'd never played quarterback before. And he is with the Los Angeles Wildcats now. Jordan Teamu is with the St. Louis Battlehawks. Aaron Murray is with the Tampa Bay Vipers. Cardale Jones is with the DC Defenders. Landry Jones is with the Dallas Renegades. And Brandon Silvers is with the Seattle Dragons. And finally, Philip Walker is with the Houston Roughnecks. Congratulations to former Salt Lake Stallion and Spokane Shock tight end Nick Truesdale. Also was signed with the Jets for a brief period of time. He was the number 5 overall pick. He will go and play for the Tampa Bay Vipers. So congratulations to some of our IFL, AFL, AAF fam, local guy from the Seattle area. So very, very much congratulations to him. And the Dragons picked up one of the best receivers in the arena or indoor game, Malachi Jones. Yes, that's right. The all-star AFL wide receiver will be a Dragon. Very excited about that. A shout-out to Marcus Applefield and James O'Hagan. CGS class of 2019. Those boys have been drafted as well to the XFL. So there are some folks that I know, some names that you guys might know that are obviously getting their second or even third chance with the XFL. It's very exciting stuff. I'm so happy to see names get called that I've seen. And, of course, there's still a list of guys out there that are going to that have been with the IFL or the AFL that I certainly hope get an opportunity as well. Devin says woof, woof, woof because his Huskies beat my Eagles. Adam says if the Pats didn't win that tire fire of a division every year, it'd be a failure for them. That's very true. Devin also says, I was hoping Seattle would have drafted Cassine Williams. Yes, that was a possibility, but it did not happen. And so we had the draft today. I don't know how many of you guys watched it. I thought it was an interesting process. 3 rounds dedicated to certain groups on the field instead of just kind of a free-for-all. So they have began the process of building their teams. These 8 teams, of course, have announced their coaching staff. Jim Zorn is going to head up the Seattle Dragons, which is very exciting. Very good job for them. If you couldn't tell, I'm kind of leaning towards Team Dragons, but that's, you got to have a team to root for. I will cover the league, obviously, but very excited about a team in Seattle that's all about fresh starts and second chances, and that isn't the Seahawks. We'll see how that all works out. Also, I feel like it's worth noting that, the CGS being at the start is a huge leap for them, should they land that deal. Jose Jefferson has worked tirelessly to try to get more exposure and draw more attention to the event however he can. And this might not be some major media group that's attending the event, but just having even one practice there is huge. So congratulations to Jose Jefferson and CGS for doing that. I'm very excited to direct my first ever media day, and I'm very thankful for that opportunity as well. And you guys can continue to chime in if you saw our question of the day, if you watched the XFL draft, what you thought of it, if you plan on watching the XFL. Also, SmackDown and Raw have finished with their drafts, I believe. I really haven't been watching it because it's been hard to watch, and it just doesn't look like it's getting any better. But Eric Bischoff, though, has been relieved of his duties as the director of SmackDown, and he has been replaced by Bruce Pritchard. And so we'll see if that gets any better. I don't think it will. Cain Velasquez is challenging Brock Lesnar for the WWE title at their Saudi Arabia event, Crown Jewel. And I can't help but feel like this is the direction that WWE is going, where it's going to take retired and recycled UFC stars and put them out in a scripted environment, and it's basically going to just ruin everything that wrestling used to be. That was gimmicks, that was fun, entertaining storyline, and guys that could perform unorthodox wrestling moves in a squared circle. These UFC guys, they go out there and they've only got like 3 wrestling moves because you can't throw an actual punch at somebody and you can't give them a knee to the face. I worry about the quality of the product. It seems like they're trying to get these guys to help boost the ratings, and in fact, it's doing the opposite. It is what it is. But Cain Velasquez, really? Like, he just walks in one day and gets a title shot? Like, oh well. Spokane Comedy Club will host Craig Robinson from Hot Tub Time Machine, The Office, several other movies like This Is the End. Very funny guy. I hope to attend. I have not reached out to try to see if I could get him on the show. He might be a tier too high for even the F.A.N show. I know, crazy. Who would have thought? Thursday, we will have our preview episode, hopefully a guest as well, as we continue to wait for the official announcement from the Spokane Shock and the remaining expansion teams. I've heard that El Paso and New Orleans look good. Again, who's going to play New Orleans? I heard that Portland was having trouble securing an arena because of previous burnt bridges and bad relationships in the past. Ant says Jalen Ramsey just traded to the Rams. Wow. So breaking news right here on the F.A.N show. Breaking news. The Rams are getting Jalen Ramsey. They just traded away one of their guys. And I was like, wow, maybe they're giving up. Clearly they are not. They see that they're 500. They want to make that better. So the Rams are trading to get Jalen Ramsey. Wow. Oh, it was Marcus Peters that they traded away earlier today. Crazy, crazy, crazy times. Thank you guys for the update. I didn't have notifications set on my phone. I didn't want it to distract me. So thank you, Devin. Thank you, Ant. You guys are awesome. Adam says AEW is becoming the place to be. No argument here at all. Wednesday nights at TNT, that would be the place to watch actual wrestling like you know and love it. Okay? Devin says 2020, 2021, first round, 2021, second round. Wow. Hefty price, but worth it. I mean, I wonder if they tried to negotiate knowing that Jalen has been wanting to leave, but I guess they don't really know the power of negotiation because Devin says, correction, fourth round, not second. Okay. So they get a first round in 2020, next year's draft, a first round in 2021, the one after, and then they get a fourth round also in 2021. If that was 3 first-round drafts, I'm like, okay, who's running this thing? Is it Sonny from draft day? Because that's bold move right there. Let's see. What else did I want to talk about real quick? Oh, yeah, the Spokane Shock. Look, there have been people that have tried to pin things on me for whatever reason. I don't understand. Look, as media, and I'm not even somebody that considers myself a journalist. I'm media. I report what I hear, and I put it in the terms of how I heard it. If somebody says, hey, heard a rumor that the IFL is going to get El Paso and New Orleans, then I say, okay, rumor has it. The IFL might get El Paso and New Orleans. Because I'm not going to say breaking news, it's official, IFL is getting the El Paso whatever and the New Orleans whatever, because that's not what I heard. I reiterate what I heard, how I heard it. And if it's something that's official, like something that comes from an official source, I will verify, and then I will ask if I can report it, because I have, out of respect for them. But if it's a rumor, if it's something working its way around, I'll talk about it on the show. So the fact that people have tried to call me out about the October 1st thing, and then the October 8th thing, and then the very soon thing, it's like, look, the Spokane Shock, the only thing shocking about them right now is that they have failed to meet any of their deadlines that they have tried to set for themselves. Because if it were me, if I was the person in charge of this team, I would have changed the Facebook profile picture and just let that sit and marinate and simmer for like 3 days, a week. Let people talk. Be like, did you see? They changed their profile picture. What does it mean? It's the old Shock logo. What does that mean? Then I would have changed the cover photo. Let them talk again. Hey, they changed another thing. Did you see that? It shows up in your notifications. So-and-so updated their cover photo, their profile picture. And then I would have picked a date to have the announcement once everything was said and done. And I would have released a video and then a photo and then another video and started to do it more and more leading up to that date. And then bam, announcement. But they didn't do it that way. They went and they just said, we're going to take a 3-hour span of time and dump videos and photos and say, prepare to be shocked. Prepare to be shocked. There's a shocking announcement coming your way. And it's been radio silence ever since. And I'm like, whatever. But LeBron James could unfollow the Cleveland Cavaliers Twitter account, and social media would go nuts for the next 3 days on what it meant. And there's just ways to do this stuff, and they didn't do it. So I find it humorous. I feel bad for the people involved, obviously, that maybe this is their big chance at a coaching gig, coordinator, or whatever, or that this is their chance to play somewhere closer to home or just another place to play that's an option. But the way that organization has gone about this is laughable. And I'm not afraid to say that. I don't work for them. I don't, okay? I don't report to Sam Adams or anybody, and my opinion is my own. That's the beauty of the Fan Show. So that's my thoughts on that. That's my little rant. That's kind of how I wanted to wrap this up. But I think it's been a solid Tuesday. I'm glad to be back on a regularly scheduled program. The breaking news episode was a lot of fun. I hope you guys enjoyed that. Facebook exclusive for you guys. So don't forget, you can subscribe. iTunes, Spotify, SoundCloud, iHeartRadio. This episode will be available later on. And then make sure that you give us a like, a follow, share the love. Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. We have a YouTube channel. There's bonus content from BattleBots coming out. And yes, I know, I teased that there may potentially possibly be some kind of big announcement for myself coming. I can tell you that big announcement will be made next week. All right? And this is not a Spokane Shock or to make an announcement next week. That's a fan show. Rich Tiemann is to make an announcement next week, so you can bank on that one. You got it? So I love you guys. You guys have been awesome. 2,000 likes and beyond. Thank all of you for tuning in. I know there was some shots taken and some bitterness here, but it's stuff that I've had to get off my chest because I've had to deal with a lot lately, and it's been a little frustrating. And I normally keep myself calm, cool, and collected, but at the end of the day, I report to me. Okay, and for people to get upset about the things that I report and they want this, that, or the other, it's like, I don't work for you. I work for me. And that's what we love about the Fan Show. So, stay on the edge of your seats, but not in an uncomfortable way. But there are breaking news and announcements coming your way. You guys are awesome. Thank you so much. Don't forget, it's not Fan Show official. Or it's not Fan Show official. Let me try that again. Don't forget, it's not official unless it's Fan Show official, and we are officially out of here on this Tuesday edition. We'll be back Thursday for our preview episode. Hopefully have an interview for you guys. And kind of like taking Wednesday off just because it gives me a chance to, if there's breaking news, I could maybe do another one of those specials. But Wednesday is going to be kind of a question mark right now moving forward, especially with a lot of changes coming up in the world of the Fan Show. But anyway, you guys can concern yourselves with that a little bit later. Jalen Ramsey, he's a Ram, 49ers, 5-0. That about sums it up. AEW tomorrow night on TNT. And yeah, it's going to be a lot of fun. We'll see you guys Thursday, so don't forget. Until next time, best of luck to you and yours. Go Niners, and it's all fun and games until you butt fumble. Good night, folks!
Do you remember the time that Mark Sanchez ran into his player's butt? That was funny sports.
Thank you for having me on the show, man. I love the Fan Show.